So now it's so simple that we cannot suffer without listening to or believing this thought, this mind. As simple as that. But why do we continue to sometimes? Because there might still be a sense that something meaningful might come from here. When we check right now, we say yes, it's all rubbish. Like Guruji says, 99% rubbish and the other 1% also rubbish. You see? So when you check about the past, we are able to say yes, it's clear. I'm not going to pick it up. But somewhere, some sense that maybe one day it will have something meaningful to tell me, this mind. But it has nothing ever meaningful to tell about the real you. Because it cannot fathom the reality that you are. And that which it cannot fathom, how can it say anything about that? How can it help that? Which is prior to all of this. So that which is before time and space, before being also. How can the mind, which is just another object in the beingness, how can that have any conclusions to say about you? So as long as there is this sense that I might still be a person, this all might be some sort of a brainwashing or something. Yeah. Then it can seem like I better hedge my bets, little bit satsang, little bit mind, and I'll try to just in case either is wrong. Yeah. But there comes a point where completely we run out of moves as far as the person is concerned or the mind is concerned. There is nothing for us to really give meaning to from the mind. Then you say, this is all. I'm just done with this game, done with this playing. I cannot find the one that the mind is referring to anyway. So let me now let go and see what happens. And initially the mind can have, again, give you some fears. What about your life? Why can't you do both? These kind of things it will tell you. What's going to happen? You're going to make a mess out of your life. But no one who has realized the self has gone and said, oh, I made such a mistake. I messed up my life. No one. That's great encouragement, isn't it? Even if there was one who said, I want to give this realization of what I am back, and I'll rather go with the mind and pursue my worldly endeavors, then we could say, okay, statistically, at least there is one, but not one we have found who's truly discovered what they are and then said, no, I want to go back to handing power back to the mind. So in this, there is a lot of encouragement for us. Because I know the mind spheres can come and say, what if he's wrong? What if he's wrong? So this, more and more as we are in satsang, then there's a development of trust. Because we try out what's being said, we see that it works, we find more peace, more space in our life, and then more and more this trust is there. Because as I was saying, I don't know whether I was saying after satsang, that for the ego, for the person, satsang is the most destructive process ever.
Is it after satsang?
After satsang. So, it can be that it has these accompaniments of love, peace, and joy, but for the person, it is the most destructive process. And that's why we have so many tantrums, we have so many things that happen, this back and forth, you see? Because it is destroying everything that we've held on to. Nothing we can rely on. All these thoughts we invested in, all these identities, all of this, it doesn't have any value. And this valuelessness of our prior investments starts to bother this mind and says, what is this? Why can't I, be a person and be free? Why can't I be a free person? Not possible, you see, because you can never become a person in the first place. And by definition, it is an unstable construct. It's just made up of a bundle of thoughts, a set of beliefs that we have carried. I'm like this, I'm an honest person, I'm a great person, I'm a happy person. All these are just ideas. Who is it at the core of them? Nothing. So as long as there's some reliance, I'm a spiritual person, for example, is a very popular construct. And then those who are spiritual then have these other points of suffering. That I'm such a God-loving person, God-fearing person. Why do I suffer? Why does God do bad things to good people? All these kind of things I've heard. So then eventually we come to this understanding that no matter what kind of person I believe myself to be is not the end of suffering. The end of suffering is only the realization that there is no person. And this, that is prior to all phenomena, this awareness is what I am. And this is not changing. Stable, more than the word stable can convey. This is that stable. It's not changing. Anything might be happening in the waking state, any phenomena might be coming and going. But this witnessing of it is untouched, unmoved, unchanged. And you cannot step away from it. This is what you are. I've been saying this often, whether you like it or not. This is what you are. So, it is in the power of our pretense, in the power of our belief. See? What a magnificent, actually, power it must be. Isn't it? The power of belief. It can convince that which is no thing, that which is eternal, immortal, unchanging, can convince that, or actually the dynamic aspect of that, the being aspect of that, tries to convince that you are just this, just this, just this, and a set of ideas, the body-mind complex, as it is called. So the being which is as pure, unassociated being which is as pure as awareness itself, somehow has created this power for itself to get deluded. Who else could have done such a thing? Only God could create this Maya also, isn't it? There is no other who was strong enough. There comes a point where we are done with the play. And that's why I started asking this question, which is, are you done with the play or not? Because otherwise we can have the same conversation over and over and over again. But actually what you're saying then is that I want to play also and I want to be free also. I would rather say just be done with the play. Be clear that I'm done with the play. And then there are some aspects which still get held on to, some strong identities, those we can look at. But if you still feel like I still want to be a person, I enjoy it. And uh, just, this is like some sort of a comfort blanket or a safety net or something, then we go over and over the same thing. But those who are saying, no, I'm not interested in anything that might come in the play. Any content might appear. I might be a beggar on the street, or I might be a king in the palace. This body might be the fittest one, or it might be just going into the dust. Yeah? So, with this sense, if you come to Satsang and say, not worried about phenomenal appearances at all, then what happens? All that is personal, all that is domestic, all that is kept aside. And we are clearly just seeing what is prior to all of this. Who was I before I woke up this morning? Did I have an identity in my sleep state? So these are very beautiful to me contemplations to look at. And everybody enjoys their sleep. At least they report that after they wake up. Because at some point, we get tired of this phenomenal experiencing also. Like Papaji used to say, you could be in the arms of your beloved on your wedding night. But when sleep comes, when you're done with the experience, then you just say, please, done. I'm done for today. Let's go to sleep. Meet tomorrow. So there comes a point that the most blissful experiences could be in front of us, but there is a limit to how much we can enjoy them. And very quickly the mind will come with this fear. The fear that will the play stop? He's saying, I'm done with the play. I don't want the play to stop. I like my family and I like my worldly attachments. And it is usually seen that very naturally the play continues without it becoming an expectation of it going a certain way. Play very naturally continues because that which is playing all these roles can continue to play the roles if it likes to. Only the sense of control, that I must control the way this life is going, that dissolves. And that is a very freeing sense. Because every moment is then experienced so beautifully. Because we are not projecting where we want life to be. It's like just like we're watching a movie and saying, okay, I hope the next scene is like this. I hope the next scene. It's such a troublesome way of watching a movie. Just watch. We're just watching. It's so beautiful. The script writer, the director, the projector, the screen, all is one consciousness. The entire movie is playing like this. On your own screen of being, on your own screen of consciousness. Everything is appearing and disappearing. And you are the eternal witness of this. And when this is said, something knows that this is true, isn't it? It knows that there is these words are resonating with what is here. Isn't it? Because otherwise for the mind it's completely radical. You're saying. But when these words are said that you are the eternal one, I don't feel there's anyone here where something there will not ring true when this is heard. Something knows this very clearly. But this one is a prior intuitive sense, which knows the reality of what I am. Because the mind cannot grasp eternity. So this one, what is here prior to mind? What is here prior to being also? You are aware of your presence. What is here that is aware of presence? This is the self. Unmoved, untouched through any state. So once it is kept aside, this mind, and just allowing being to be without any sense of grasping control, just being, then the simple truth of who we are, so apparent, isn't it? It's only when we try to label it, only when we try to make a conclusion about it. What have I found? What have I found? If you quickly go to that, then again, it is giving it over to the mind. There is nothing you have found. You have always been this. So the discovery is that I have always been this. It's not a discovery of a new. So we have unraveled this in some way. And we've seen that the core of this delusion of personhood is only firstly, the presence of this voice, which tries to convince us that I am a person, and more importantly, the belief in this voice that we give. And then you will find that all of this voice is allowed to continue, this world is allowed to continue, and being is allowed to just be. And I am that which is the eternal, pure, innocent witnessing of all of this. And this is our experience right now. Don't try to grasp at it. Don't try to come to this point. This is where you're starting from. This is your starting point. If your mind is still painting a picture saying that you have to get to where he's pointing, then it is again tricking you. This is the starting point. So the movement, if you want to look at it as a movement, is an inward movement, not a forward movement. And the grace of satsang, the presence of satsang has given us the spiritual muscles now to, when we say just keep the mind aside, we're able to follow. If you were to speak to a layman who's mostly speak to anyone who's not been in satsang and say, keep the mind aside, no, but how can I? It's so strong. The mind is so strong. But now, having been in satsang more and more, we don't feel as much, oh, the mind is so strong. And we unravel that also. What do we find strong? That which is our strongest identity. And in spiritual circles, the seeker identity can also be the strongest one. Since I've made it, you've not made it, all this. So this can be. Then when we explore, who is this one who made it? There is nobody here in that way.